Hello, this is Lauren Holly Allen again, and this is my fourth video series with you. The title today, Size Does Matter. In this video, I want to continue answering your questions about what to do in life-threatening emergencies. Before we begin, I received 2 emails this week regarding my training focus as it relates to the book title. The book title is You Can Write a Step-by-Step House of Worship Emergency, Safety, and Security Plan. Lauren Holly Allen. This is the book that some people have already purchased and are following. The concern is that small businesses that are accessible in the public square, I was reminded that small businesses like nonprofit organizations, establishments like stores, bakeries, food trucks, parking garages, church dining rooms that offer feeding programs, do not have large staff to create complicated plans, emergency plans, nor do they have safety committees. And I appreciate these emails. I appreciate your comments. I'm thrilled. There are resources, constraints for comprehensive safety programs, including dedicated safety professionals, budget for training and security equipment, or time for implementing safety initiatives. The owners and managers of small businesses and worship houses have less time to focus on security measures. And thank you for that reminder. However, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which is OSHA, and I'm sure we all have heard of OSHA, regardless of the size of business and businesses, schools, whatever the size, are required to comply with their standards, including providing a safe working place and training for their employees on hazards and maintaining records of injuries and illnesses. And I will cover this thoroughly in Chapter 10, but I want you to know there are regulations, no matter the size of your business. Now, I promise to cover robberies and fire safety, weather emergencies like earthquakes and hurricanes, and training applicable to address various concerns. I promise to do so. Matter of fact, starting today. The second viewer states that I should remember the lay people serving at church and workers and volunteers everywhere on every job site, including nursing assistants, bellhops, parking attendants, kitchen staff, all people who may have limited academic backgrounds. Now, I reemphasize, you do not need the book to benefit from this training. All you need is a lined notebook and take and keep detailed notes to refer back to. I guarantee you will need them. You will need them. And this is why I say so. The book was written for a myriad of people in any profession or students who may be interested in the field and need basic information about it. They may decide they want to enter into the field. They might want to be a police officer. They might want to be an emergency manager. Or they might want to be helpful at their school. The training offered at the state and federal levels is extremely technical. I took it, I have a book this thick, took all that training, even oil spill emergencies, how to handle those. So I am committed to move slowly because much of the information is absolutely necessary for you to cover, for us to cover together. Information is needed before we as a group can move forward. I have to provide you with certain training, certain information, the basic information. Now, we're only 4 classes in our process together, this series. I promise you, I will keep this series as easily understood and inclusive as possible. And that came up. An inclusive class process. And I appreciate you sending me the emails. That way I know how to train you, how to conduct myself, and what your needs are. I am so grateful. Now, the third inquiry, yes, it was 3. I am so happy about it, that you're paying attention and you're watching the video. The third inquiry, this is National Mental Health Month, May 2025. And also, it was mentioned at church earlier today to remind us. So I have a quick quiz question. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. All right, you ready? All right. You observe a person outside or near your building. That person is pacing to and fro, up and down, pacing. They appear to be in distress or having a mental health emergency. You are on the emergency management team on your job. Your job description is security. From the scenario, choose how you might handle the situation as it relates to your assigned team member duties. Your assigned team member duties as security person. How would you handle it? Choose the best course of action. And I am going to say there's no right or wrong answer. You have to make the decision. That's why you're being trained. That's why we are meeting together in this series. A, secure the doors of your business inside or outside, or both. B, if you are a parking attendant, would you call 911 and report a suspicious person? C, would you consider if you see something, stay vigilant and say something? D, ignore the person and hope they eventually move on. Those are your 4 options. I'm going to read them again. Secure the doors of your business inside or outside? Question. If you are a parking attendant, would you call 911 and report a suspicious person? C, would you consider if you see something, stay vigilant and say something? D, ignore the person and hope they eventually move on. In Series 3, Team Building, we covered safety and security teams and why they are developed according to business, community, location, and environmental threats. Everyone knows their business, everyone knows their environment, or should, and will make decisions in regard to what their security team will look like based on their needs, perceived needs, or other problems that have occurred in the community. Another quick quiz question. You are in an office building and the room suddenly starts to shake and begin rolling as an earthquake hits, what should you do? What would you do? Do you have a plan for such a disaster? I want to share with you a true story. And this is in regard to evacuation protocol for physically challenged people. And this fits right in. They can be physically challenged, they can be mentally challenged, right? The 2011 earthquake was one of the strongest earthquakes to be felt in Maryland. At least we thought so. California called us in emergency management and says, what's wrong with you people over there in Maryland? Because California goes through this all the time. We don't go through this all the time. So they kind of teased us. Okay, we crawled under the desk. I did. Okay, they laughed at us. All right. But let's continue on with the true story. Just thought I'd add a little humor. At 1:51 p.m. on August 23rd, a 5.8 magnitude earthquake hit about 38 miles northwest of Richmond, Virginia. It was felt across more than a dozen states. My oldest daughter was employed at the Baltimore World Trade Center on the 11th floor. There were 23 floors in the building. She had returned to work after recuperating from a recent car accident. She was hit by a car in the garage. So she's just returning from work. She really needed support with her cane to walk down multiple flights of stairs on several levels to the exit. Afterward, she exited the building. After she exited the building, she was required to walk 3 additional blocks to the designated assigned assembly area. Designated assigned assembly area. The building security teams were pre-selected and on site to assist her and any employees in need of assistance. They were ready, trained, ready to go. The protocol is no one is ever permitted to return to work or leave the area until everyone is accounted for and receives all clear instructions. So you may walk outside the building. You be with the team. You go to the designated area. You stand there and you wait until everyone is accounted for. Then people can go home or be allowed to leave the area. Same with a fire. People walk or exit to a designated area and they wait until the fire department deems that everybody's out of the building. And then the all clear is given when that's determined, and it is determined whether people go back in the building or go home. So this is our lesson for the day. This is an example of one of many evacuation protocols and assistance that were needed for people needing to evacuate that building. They may be using walkers, wheelchairs. If they're in hospital or nursing homes, they may be bedridden. They may be blind or hearing impaired. Trained teams were on site and available during that emergency. I reluctantly mentioned the World Trade Center attack on September the 11th, 2001 at 8:45 a.m. at North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City, in which hundreds of people were instantly killed. I reluctantly mentioned that in Washington, D.C., this week there was an incident and people were killed. I will teach a more detailed course on evacuation because there's more to it even than this, and the protocols in the upcoming videos. This is a perfect example of staff who were trained to provide assistance to special needs employees, attendees, staff, and customers during an emergency. So let's do a quick quiz. What is your plan of action if you are employed at a bookstore or a food truck and witness a robbery in close proximity of where you work or where you are or where you're shopping? 2, possible answer. Would you quickly lock the door or canopy and call 911 and find hiding spaces for your customers and staff members? Of course, yourself. Would you stay hidden until you are certain and all clear is given by authorities in the area? That's the question. It's also an academic question, an education question. You are learning. We're learning together, slowly, and we're thinking. Selecting members of the security and safety team. Well, what can teams do to protect their businesses and organizations, large and small? Large and small. This includes worship houses, storefront or mega churches, who needs to prepare for safety and security emergencies and plan for incidents that might occur within their building campuses. How would you identify team members, people who can serve during an emergency? And first, they need to come to the table as team members and talk about what the risks are. You'll do a risk assessment, a risk evaluation for where you work, no matter where it is, no matter how large or small your business. This might include trained security professionals, as we've already talked about today, having skills in law enforcement. Might retire from the police department and want to take a part-time job, or now that they're in that job, they might be the custodian, but they may decide that they want to serve on that committee because they have experience. Nurses, teachers, school counselors, custodial staff, cafeteria workers, public information officers, certainly. I have a whole section on how to talk to the press when they arrive at your door. That's coming. Chief preparedness officer. They may have an executive position and want to take a lead position. And any concerned employee or parent volunteer. Any concerned employee or parent volunteer, especially at the school, daycare. It's beneficial to conduct background checks before hiring or selecting staff, volunteers, or anyone to serve on the security committee. Probably that has already occurred because they have the job in your employ or in your small business or organization. I strongly suggest written job descriptions and individual or group training and emergency drills are needed to develop individual skills and determine who will serve. This too will be covered in detail. Please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up and press subscribe. And yes, you know you can order my book in hardback, paperback, or an ebook by going on Amazon or just even typing my name, Lauren, Lauren Holley, Holley-Allen. You type my name, several venues will come up in which you can purchase the book, maybe a used book, much cheaper. So team members, you are the help until the help arrives. Future team members, you are the help until the help arrives. This ends class 4. It will drop Friday. And I thank you for coming on this channel. I thank you for your questions. Send me emails. One person stopped me and asked me about mental health month because she serves in that capacity on her job. Just thrilled. Thank you very much for coming. Bye-bye. Until next time.